recording since I've been back there.
Okay.
Okay, cool. That's
Is this
great.
the internet?
It's like what?
Smells funny.
Yeah, no, pretty much.
Yo.
Episode 2
Yeah.
of Barely Independent.
Yeah, we're back.
It's good to be back.
Yeah.
I think most importantly, we need to say thank you to everybody who listened to us
Yeah.
on the first episode.
All the little people.
Shouts out, bro.
Really, really cool.
Mm.
I think just update on that, just on all the the locations people can stream us on. We are on YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, and TuneIn. And I believe Ezra, you were mentioning Stitcher and TuneIn is a pretty
People use it for podcasts, but
okay.
I've never heard of them before I started signing us up.
sure.
I never heard of them even after.
And then the podcast has some socials now. We are on Instagram at Barely Independent. We're on Facebook, Barely Independent,
Mm-hmm.
and Twitter at Bear Dependence.
Yeah,
so
because the Barely Independent didn't fit
Couldn't
into a
fit.
Twitter
I
handle.
didn't know that. That's
So,
interesting.
and then also just to give it a little bit of a push, just in terms of YouTube, it'd be really great if we can get to 100 subscribers. Then we'll start recording.
Video.
You know,
Yeah.
click the sub button, smash the bell icon to be notified of when we come back, and then for SoundCloud and then all of our non-audio, all of our audio-only things.
Yeah.
We want to release a 30-minute ASMR clip if we can get to about
Hey.
25 collective follows there.
Nice. Nice.
No, I think that's good. Let's start off with the first story. SONA.
Yeah.
Big
Wow.
news.
Yeah, State of the Nation address was great. Just mad props to Cyril, just how he...
Do you
as a-
listen to it live?
I didn't listen to
But
it live.
you're talking like how he...
No, look here. I
know.
read it. I saw some
okay.
pictures.
and you heard his voice in your head.
I think I had date night at the same time. So yeah, shouts out to the
showing
date.
off.
I'm joking. No,
so single.
no. So one thing I really respected upon reading the speech was that he never looked back and
Yeah.
and really judged and made blame for the Zuma era, the last 10 years of the country. And he was more like just taking ownership. And leadership is like, this is where we are, and this is what we need to do. To make it out of that, so no victim mentality put on anything. And
But a lot of dreaming, actually. That's what I found.
a lot of dreaming. So before I want to talk about how he was criticized on having big dreams with no implementation, I really liked his push in education.
Yeah.
That had it for me. I know I'm not an educationalist, but as an aspiring one, I just value what he said about early childhood development. And he said the core of all learning comes to this is reading for meaning, and it doesn't start at the age of 10 or anything. It starts at the early childhood development level, those core years. So mad fan of him.
Yeah, just going over like all of the things mentioned, because I know there was 7 areas you identified as priorities for the next few years, and then there was also 5 goals. So those 7 priorities are economic transformation and job creation, education, skills and health, consolidating the social wage through reliable and quality basic services, spatial integration, human settlement and local government, social cohesion and safe communities, a capable, ethical and developmental state, and a better Africa and world. And then as for the 5 goals, no person in South Africa will go hungry. The economy will grow.
Big dream.
Big dream. The economy will grow at a much faster rate than the population, which
another
is
big dream.
Another big dream. 2 million more young people will be in employment.
Wow.
And then the last 2 being schools will have better educational outcomes, and every 10-year-old will be able to read for meaning, and violent crime will be halved or better than that.
Wow. I think a scary one that he said there was about the 2 million young people being employed, because the youth unemployment is currently at 50%.
50%, in
That's-
excess of 50%.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's
I'm just speaking from work experience and chatting to everybody at work. We hired about 5 new people in one of the labs, and speaking to those people, just the emphasis that they had, where they were sitting for 6 to 8 months, qualified with a bachelor's degree or an honors degree, sitting and just sending out CVs, and it was just so scary to hear them speak about that.
Yeah.
And being smart, qualified people.
And you almost feel lucky. Like
Yeah.
you
Absolutely, I
applied,
just-
you got a job. Boom.
Not my story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not my story from when I finished varsity. So I
Absolutely
feel
the
very
same.
privileged.
What's
but,
absolutely insane though is that these people sitting with honors degrees and
Yeah.
master's degrees.
Which
Yeah.
you're told to go push for. Like
Yeah.
if you want to get a job, don't just settle for undergrad. go get postgrad. But
But
these guys are postgrad.
Like going back
Yeah.
to the whole fees must fall movement of
Mm.
people wanting to get into varsity. Like if there's not enough jobs for people,
What is
With
education going to
degrees.
get you? Yeah. I was like, where's the entrepreneurial spirit? No,
but like
that's what
yeah.
creates
and we're
jobs.
not against education by any
No,
means.
no,
Like
no.
educate the hell out of yourself. But
Yeah.
it's completely insane that like we don't have enough jobs. And going back to the whole thing just of education and reading for meaning, I know for me as someone in varsity environment, we had a first year module called English for Educational Development.
Wow.
Annoying module, but
Mm.
incredibly important because we don't have people that can read from academic texts
Yeah.
and then draw meaning from that
Yeah.
and then deliver their own ideas.
Sure.
And it's weird to think that, like, something that, like I've often taken for granted. But I can also see that English is just such a stupid language that, like people struggle with it, especially considering that the majority of people in this country don't have English as a first language.
Yeah. Well, if your questions are in English or your question, how do you, let's look at maths. You can say, oh, you don't have to be good at languages to know maths. That's a misconception because the question is going to be asked to you in a language and it's going to be taught to you in a language.
Yeah.
So that in itself. So I really just, respect Ramaphosa's thing there. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was completely insane though, and one thing that was mentioned, he wanted to build a new city.
Hey.
Like so, look, and guess who he got the idea from?
Where?
So there was a few local stakeholders, and it's like, yeah, no, and taking a chapter out of President Xi Jinping's book,
Wow.
President of China.
Wow.
So China's building basically a new Beijing. So our president basically said, why can't we aspire to do the same?
Wow.
We haven't built a new city
Well, what's
like
the
since the
stats?
dawn of our democracy.
Yeah, since New South Africa, there's not one new city has been built.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, but like at the same time, how do we aspire to that when so many people don't have jobs, when so many people
Yeah.
go hungry? But and that was the biggest criticism of that. I know Ty, you were telling me.
The criticism of that I read up on is that it's almost like Ramaphosa and the ANC are with all these high hopes and big dreams, but no implementation to get it. You've got this 2 million employment, it's double, tourism is going to be doubled by 2030. All these high hopes, big dreams, but like the criticism is what are the 1, 2, and 3s? But then as we also say, SONA is not for that. SONA is not, your blueprint doesn't get addressed in SONA. SONA is to inspire the state of the nation, what's coming up for us.
Yeah, like this is where we're coming from. This
Yeah.
is where we're going. Like I know he mentioned the Natives Land Act as well. It
Yeah.
was the 104th anniversary of that.
Yeah.
And just saying that we came from that, where the majority of people were completely disenfranchised. And now we're sitting with democracy and we have problems, but there's hope.
Yeah.
And I'm all for that. But then the realist in me is like saying, how the hell are we going to do this?
Yeah, sure.
But I think we can. We can figure it out.
No, absolutely. I thought his point on emphasizing local business and supporting local
Yeah.
business was such a wonderful
Suit.
thing. And the suit he was wearing was from Salt River.
Yeah. They
I-
made it in one day.
Wow.
Came in on the Tuesday, and then the seamstress worked
Supporting
overnight.
local business. I know, Ezra, with your music, you tend to, if you're going to search
Yeah.
for new music, you only look at South African first.
I look at South Africa first,
Yeah.
so like I have to make quite a few playlists just for when I do sound and stuff, and just I always try and put local artists on first.
Yeah.
But there's just such a cool sound to it. You know that like ding, ding, ding,
South
ding,
African.
That was I
Yeah.
shouldn't have.
What
done
South
that.
African song was that?
What South Africa? That was actually the song from Ice Age.
Oh, is it? Not South African.
Not South African, but it sounds extremely African.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's really cool that there was that push.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Cricket.
Oh,
Oh no,
this is this is
was
embarrassing.
genuinely bad.
So let me, if I can just say something on it, is that so South Africa as a cricket, we're known as a cricketing nation. We've been in the top 3. We've actually been pretty much jumping between first, second, and third for the last 10 to 50, maybe even 20 years. So we're known as the big players in the cricket economy, if you call it that. So, but when it comes to World Cups, South Africa is known for choking. You hear the word chokers.
Yeah.
And so we're the chokers. So we all we all know Alan Donald, semi-final 1999, dropped the bat. But the thing about...
I didn't know that.
Not?
No, actually.
Don't you? I cried. I remember. I was 6 years old and...
you were actually alive then.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow, your Generation Z.
Oh
for real,
no, you
bro.
weren't alive back then.
No, I'm a 90s kid.
Okay.
You were born in 99.
Yeah, just.
Yeah,
I remember that following that people were just like ghosts. So
You've seen that meme, eh? You've seen that Jedi meme, you know, when sitting with the Jedi Council. It's like, you may sit on this council, but we do not grant you the status of knight.
You're not status of 90s, bro. Anyway, so I just remember crying.
Yeah.
And I shouted at my mom and dad were like, why are you crying? And I was like, because mom pinched me. But she didn't pinch me. But so when you call chokers, South Africa choke in the semi-finals. We choke in the finals. We choke in the quarterfinals. But this World Cup, we're bottom of the log. I mean, I remember listening to the radio the other day, and the radio host was like, "Oh, we've got a bottom of the table clash today. Afghanistan falls against South Africa," and I was like, "Whoa! Since when in the same sentence is that?" So it's really bad, and I think our chances are fully done. So it's just a dismal performance.
Do you know what I feel like the worst for though?
Yeah.
My grandma.
Why?
And I know you think I joke. She runs inside any South African sports match. She runs inside. No, I'm not watching.
Really?
I'm not watching. You can't take my nerves is done. And shame. So it's like, but like making it a bit more broadly, all of the South African fans, because like a lot of people put a lot of high hopes in.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For this. Like,
We're
they're
a
like, guys,
sporting
this is
nation.
the year.
And they
So-
get paid so much.
They do.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
South Africans. Yeah.
After like the first or second match, I saw an article someone posted, and just saying how AB de Villiers phoned Faf du
Yes. The
Plessis,
phone call.
saying, "Listen, I'm available for the World Cup team." I think it was just before
Yeah.
the selection of the team or
Mm.
something, and it was just saying how that just took such a mental toll on the team. Just saying that him being such an amazing player and being such an amazing all-rounder, he could replace anybody in the team, putting doubt in the team's mind just before the tournament.
Yeah.
It freaks
That-
you out. Yeah.
And I get that, but at the same time, I just thought it was such a like easy way out
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
kind of like that's why we
Doesn't
just-
really relate to performance. I mean,
It's like,
come
what are
on.
we going to have these like 40-year-olds on the field?
Don't you play better
Come-
when you know your position's threatened?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
you know.
no.
No.
No, not at
Performance
all.
issues, bro. Chokers.
You're gonna check.
Yeah. No, pretty disappointing.
Absolutely.
But the New Zealand game was close though.
Yeah, it was. And New Zealand themselves are the dark horses of every World Cup. Them
Yeah.
in the West Indies say like they're never the favourites, but they always just make their way somehow.
Yeah. Well, they're never the favorites because they're not underdogs by any
No.
stretch of
No.
that.
Yeah. So even though the New Zealand game was close, it was do or die. Make it.
But Tyron, do you know what I find really funny?
Yeah.
Weren't you saying at the game, a friend of yours in England watched that game?
Yes, mate of mine, Dylan Russell, who all of us actually know. He doesn't even watch sport, but he's immigrated to England, and the one South African game he watches was the game we get knocked out of the World Cup, and his wife was like supporting so loyally. Yeah, South Africa.
And then you absolutely like, and you just get thrashed like that.
Yeah,
How much do you feel as a South African in that crowd? You know, like you're like, guys, I'm gonna support. We're here. In
I
in
don't
the
even think
dark
Dylan knows
land.
how the game. Annan probably knows that more.
No,
about the game than
probably,
we do.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Huawei.
Huawei.
Ezra, do us an educate, bro.
I will do you an educate. So I know
Please.
you guys before this, like we put this on the doc, and you're like, what on earth is happening, Ezra?
Yeah,
So let me vertel vir julle.
the specifics, bro.
I will tell you guys. So pretty much, Huawei is banned from doing business with US companies.
Yeah,
Now, there was a very long run up to this. You guys are aware of Trump's like so-called trade war with China. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like a whole, like it's kind of like a game of chicken, actually. So it's like, I'm going to put tariffs on you. And it's like, oh no, you put tariffs on me, I'll put tariffs on you. And that's been going back and forth. And then pretty much an executive order later. So that's something that Trump signs.
From Star Wars, or is that? I'm sorry.
Oh, wait. Why would Trump sign something in Star Wars? Anyway, getting back to it. Trump signs an executive order. He goes ahead and then assigns a US government department. They see Huawei as a threat to US business or something along those lines, and they place them on a ban list. Now, what the ban list entails is that no US company can do business with them. And like
Okay.
you might think, oh, that's fine. China manufactures everything. It'll be fine. but not by any means.
So are we attributing this to a trade war, not necessarily anything Huawei did wrong?
They didn't do anything so much wrong, rather that they were just so good at what they did
Okay.
that it was threatening to US companies.
Trade war.
So like for one thing, a lot of people think that it could have been Huawei because Huawei's 5G technology, so the latest thing that our phones will be using to get on the internet,
Yeah.
that's just so much better than US technology.
Yeah.
And there's billions and billions of dollars on the line. Because if you own the way the world communicates,
Yep.
like, just like that, you can put any price you want on them and people will pay.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that people think. But what's really the problem now for Huawei is that even though manufacturing is taking place in China, they get their chips, they get their software, they get a large portion of like what makes up a phone from US companies.
Yeah.
So for example, their chips are the technology is designed by Qualcomm, a US company.
Yeah.
They can't have the things that basically the heart of the phone, the brain of the phone. And then going further, they don't have Android anymore because Android's owned by a US company, which is Google.
Sure.
You can't work with them anymore. Android's open source, but
So then explain, what is it like for then the current people who still own Huawei's? What is the effect on them?
we have no idea yet.
Okay.
Like really great phones, really great phones.
Yeah.
But like the first thing that they would lose would be services run by
So
US
they won't
companies.
lose Android, the ability to use the phone.
Android's open source.
Okay.
But like you probably won't receive the updates you used to.
Oh, wow.
You could start losing Google services. There could come a day where YouTube just stops. Facebook can't come pre-installed on Huawei devices anymore.
Wow. Is it just in South Africa? Or?
Yeah, so a lot of all around the world.
Oh, wow.
Because it's one Chinese company. So a lot of South Africans are asking, what the hell do we do with this? Like, I just got a fancy new Huawei.
Yeah.
Is it still going to be fancy?
Second biggest global manufacturer of cell
Second largest global manufacturer,
Top
just
Apple.
behind Samsung.
Yeah.
Sure. Massive threat.
Yeah,
On
but
the way to topple Samsung.
on the way to top Samsung. But also there's pain on both sides because what Apple manufactures in China,
Ooh, so
they're going to have to move their manufacturing way to Taiwan.
yeah. Sure.
So it's really like interesting. Just
But Ezra,
in that
what
regard.
is the crux of the whole thing? Like, what specifically went wrong with Huawei? Because it's been very vague, the actual issue. So what was the trigger, I suppose, of Trump's decision?
If you could figure that out, like trust, there's a lot of people who would want to talk to you.
Okay.
But
Conspiracy
pretty much
alert.
it's probably something along the lines of the the art of the deal. You can get the best deal. It's the best deal maker.
Yeah. Yeah.
We honestly have no idea.
So it's basically either the states strong arm China into playing ball with whatever they want, or China's like, okay, cool, or Huawei's like, we'll take the hit for a few years, develop our own IP, and then get this stuff rolling out.
It's like the biggest game of chicken, but like with the global economy.
Yeah.
Like Huawei can make their own things, but that's like 3 years out at best. It's nowhere near the support
Yeah.
and the quality that like Android offers. That what we're used to. So it's really fascinating, especially considering that they're the second largest phone manufacturer in the world.
Yeah.
And I think they're the first largest actually in South Africa
Wow.
because it's good phones.
Everyone's got one.
It's a
Everyone's got
competitive
one.
price point.
Yeah,
Mm.
no,
You've got
competitive.
like functionality on the phone
Yeah.
is
Mm.
amazing.
Camera quality.
I think I saw a tech eye review. Is it the A70 from Samsung?
A7 or something like that.
Something like that.
Samsung's naming sucks.
It never used to be released where he's from.
Yeah.
And the phone came out recently and he bought it as like a lower price point phone just to review it. And he was so impressed with just the functionality. And I think
Wow.
that market
Yeah.
hasn't been explored by a lot. Like...
Oh,
not
okay.
everyone can afford the newest iPhone.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's so interesting that market is now like...
And like 3 out of the 4 of us here, Ben having a Huawei, but like we have iPhones here. It's
Yeah.
not the newest iPhones.
No.
Because we can't afford the newest
No.
iPhones.
I
Absolutely.
just didn't upgrade. I was like, you know what? I'll just upgrade my data package.
Thank you.
Oh no,
Thank you.
that's smart.
I can't afford
Who
the
makes
new
phone
iPhone.
calls
Yep.
anymore?
It's so insane. Okay, I make phone
I'll
calls
make
for
phone
work,
calls,
but
same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
but
We're
it-
working.
it-
with
the pricing on iPhones is so expensive.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know. You need to be one of the 1%ers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, to get a new one every year.
No. Yeah.
No.
It's
Like,
wild.
you're lucky a year to get every 2 years
Mm,
because that's your contract.
it's true. Well, they're coming out with 3 contracts now, so just makes it a little bit more. 3-year contracts to make it a little bit more affordable, I suppose.
Detective Pikachu, the movie.
That was a good movie. Ben and I, we went on a bit of a bro date.
Business trip, actually.
Business trip, yes, business business trip.
Who paid, guys?
Who paid? No, I think we split. It was a Tuesday, half price Tuesday.
Dutch.
Ben, how was it though? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah. Definitely a good movie. Story-wise, not the best. Not winning any awards. But it definitely just made a lot of expectations for just gamers everywhere.
Yeah.
Just having a history of a whole lot of really bad gamer movies.
Mortal Kombat. That was the best everyone calls.
Sure. But yeah, this one just really blew people out of the water.
Yeah.
The production quality was amazing, and it fulfilled a whole lot of just expectations that we've been having.
Yeah, those expectations being childhood dreams.
Sure.
Like have you okay, so just because South Africa's weird and behind, like a lot of people maybe didn't grow up with Pokemon as much as the rest of the world.
Yeah.
But for those who did, for those who watched the anime back in the day, for those who still watching the anime,
SABC 2.
SABC 2, it was so good, and just seeing these things in the real world next to real life people, seeing the light shine on Pikachu and diffusing through the fur.
Yeah.
It's genuinely really cool.
So they
and
kept the
really
cuteness of him.
Oh no, it was Ryan Reynolds did such a good job for it. Somehow he made Pikachu cuter.
Now you got a man crush on Reynolds, right?
Well, it seems as though I do now.
Pikachu.
So get this right. So when we first meet Detective Pikachu, he comes in, and then startles the main character, and then it's I'm so lonely, and his ears goes down. It's the cutest thing ever. It is the absolute
Nice.
I don't know why I'm freaking out so much, but I saw the first trailer. Yeah. And I freaked out so much because it just looks totally what we wanted.
Yeah. Staying on movies, you watched Aladdin.
I watched Aladdin.
Yeah.
Am I the movie guy now?
You're the
I'm
movie
apparently
guy.
the movie guy now. Aladdin was good. He what's his face? Will Smith did not try and do a Robin Williams genie. It was basically the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air genie.
Awesome.
Oh wow.
But
nice.
it was entertaining.
That's hot.
That's hot. No, it was genuinely entertaining. It was genuinely fun. The other two leads were great.
Yeah.
And the best character by far. Take one guess.
The carpet.
It's the carpet. The carpet does not say a word, but it has so much character and just how it moves. Wow. And the carpet's such a bro, right? Just by the way, you guys have watched the original.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the whole I can show you the world scene.
Yeah.
The carpet takes them. The carpet's such a G. It's the absolute best character. But Ty, I know you love musicals.
Yeah,
I have to watch it.
I have to love musicals.
You have to love
musicals. My
music.
girlfriend loves musicals. She watched Aladdin, and honestly, she said she was
flexing
with
right
flex, bruh. No, she and her friends went to go watch it, and they just said blown away by the movie.
You're so lucky you didn't have to go to that.
No,
Oh wow!
I was eating a meal with another mate.
You know she listens to this, right?
Ooh, no, I should have been there.
Yeah, you really should have been there. Your Ty, yeah, no, that was a good joke just now.
Lol.
No, but definitely give Aladdin a watch.
Yeah.
Really great feel. It didn't look awkward. There wasn't that uncanny valley weird feel. It was good fun.
That's hot.
That's hot.
Yeah.
Vettel's 5-second penalty.
That's in the world of sport.
Oh,
that's
big
been a
news.
big talking point.
I've heard about this, and I don't watch F1.
Yeah, also that's the far reach. Just on the bar, I did a bit of Googling this week about the most watched sporting events in a calendar year. And top position is UEFA Champions League. But the second... Naturally. But the second most watched sport in a calendar year is Formula 1.
Wow.
Globally.
Incredible.
I was quite taken back by that.
Yeah.
But I think they've really broken into the Asia market. Europe it's one of the biggest things. And obviously the South Americans have always been into it. Anyway, that's why I was the scope of this Vettel penalty is actually reached far and wide. To give some context here, basically Hamilton, Ferrari firstly have been doing nothing for a long time. And finally they in the lead of an entire race. They're in front, and Hamilton's pushing Vettel, and Vettel slips off the track and enters it. Now, whether he entered the track terribly or he could do nothing, he basically entered back, and when he entered back in, he was in Hamilton's way, and Hamilton had to slow down or else he was going to crash into him.
Yeah.
And Vettel's side of the story is, I came off the track. How am I supposed to control how I enter the track?
Yeah, you can't stay on the air.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the rear was kicked out, so he had to do oversteer on the right-hand side,
Yeah.
which made it look like he was turning into. And from the other side, it's like, no, he drove directly in the path of Hamilton. Now, this has been the big conversation. And I'd actually, all viewers, go have a look at on YouTube.
What
There's
is
so
the
many
rule
clips.
of question here, though? Like what?
That's a good point. One thing about Formula One,
Nobody actually understands.
no
it.
one knows the rules intently.
Yeah.
Because there's the stewards. Yeah. Anyway.
So I think it was mainly on the dangerous re-entry
Yes.
Okay.
and not allowing.
Hamilton to go past.
Yeah. So 'cause it forced him to brake very, very, very sharply.
Yeah. Which
Um,
then gave Vettel time to get away again.
Yeah.
And Hamilton. So just to give more context, Vettel actually won the race. He finished first.
Yeah.
He checkered flag Vettel, but because of the 5-second penalty, it pushed him into second
Yeah.
place, and that is points that Ferrari are not getting.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And the points gap is big now.
yeah, 60,
I
62 between
think,
Vettel
yeah.
and
Yeah.
Hamilton,
I mean, if the points gap between Bottas and Hamilton
It's
is
huge.
29.
and then next down. So it seems like Ferrari have no hope anymore.
What I
And-
must say is
yeah.
weird though, like just with that, is that I know a lot of people are saying that F1's not as exciting anymore. And
yes.
like technically this makes F1 exciting because like, oh, what's
Yes.
happening? Because like I
Good
was
point.
watching this just randomly on 9gag as you do. Like there was this MotoGP clip
Yeah.
going, like the guys on the motorbikes. And like they're going around and it's the most insane thing to watch because like one
Overtake every
overtakes,
lap.
another overtakes.
Yep.
And then, but like now what, like a lot of people just saying F1 is just cool. You go around the track, hope for the best. You hopefully get a good starting position.
Yeah, you start first, you kind of
Yeah.
finish first, and that's
Yeah.
the criticism the sport's having at the moment. And Vettel, when he got out the car, it was actually quite funny. Go watch how he exited the race and how he
Yeah.
swapped the 1 and 2
With
position around.
swag.
And he just said the rules are ruining the sport. People are watching so they can see a race. Now we give them a race, but they go and penalize us for racing.
Ooh.
So that's what he was saying. But with the MotoGP thing, I'm glad you commented on it. A lot of people have made the switch from F1 to MotoGP because you get like 6 overtakes every lap. There's an overtake
Yeah.
happening. And there's not one winner of every race. You get it varies quite a bit.
I think there was also a similar sentiment to the Formula E as well.
Yes.
Is that the playing
Yeah.
field is so, there's not 3 teams at the top.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's different every season.
Yeah.
And I think that's also very
Comment
encouraging.
on Formula E.
Which might be coming to Cape Town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which,
Wow.
which is actually quite cool because
that'd be
we've
amazing.
always wanted a race here. Like,
Yeah.
some people have pitched like an F1 race.
Mm.
I think Formula E is great.
Yeah.
Like I really, it'd be really cool if this becomes the future just because electric cars, like, as a tech guy, I would love to
It's
own a
where it's
Tesla.
going. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the sound of those cars, it sounds like the Jetsons. I think it's very cool.
No, I think with Formula E, watch the space.
Absolutely.
Big watch the space,
Yeah.
unless Formula One absorbs it when cars become fully electric.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
Like
What was it like? Were we either discussing afterwards or I think the last podcast you were saying that a lot of the improvements and enhancements you find in Formula One cars.
comes to the
So then once
Yeah,
everyone's
normal cars.
racing
Sure.
like
electric
electric
cars.
vehicles, will it shift to that? Or will this be like, the last bastion of the petrol heads?
What does that mean for the oil industry?
What does
Good
that mean for
topic.
the oil, for big oil?
Yeah,
Nah, it's good questions.
Yeah,
sure.
sure. Keanu Reeves just blowing up right now.
Cyberpunk.
Daddy
come on.
Keanu.
Yeah.
So you guys do know what happened, right?
Mm.
So like there's the clips on
Massive.
YouTube. It's very, very popular.
Yeah.
What happens is Cyberpunk 2077, which looks like probably the next best game.
Yeah.
Same people who made The Witcher 3,
Yes.
CD Projekt Red, those guys. I said it right, man, because that's his favorite game.
CD Project Red, yes.
CD Projekt.
Not
It's weird. There's a K in it. CD Projekt Red.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not English.
European, so
Yeah, Europeans. So that's their next game.
Yeah.
And Keanu Reeves appears at the end of the trailer.
Oh,
Everyone
word.
loses their minds.
Yeah.
What happens? The doors open. Smoke emerges. Like, the lighting is sharp. You can just see the silhouette of a man.
Pretty breathtaking.
And it's Keanu Reeves. He walks out. He's talking about how the breathtaking views of the city as you walk through it. And then someone randomly shouts, "You're breathtaking." And
To which he stops and is like, "No, you're breathtaking."
exactly.
What a nice guy.
Such a nice guy.
That person probably got taken on a date that same night. and just got
People offered that guy free stuff. You have no idea.
Really?
Yeah, no, like he was offered a free copy of the game and stuff. But
Wow.
it's my source is like, oh, it's on the internet, so it must be true. But it and he's absolutely blowing up now, Keanu Reeves. All over the internet. There's tons and tons of memes about him.
Sure.
There's a whole bunch of people just saying
everyone's on the
this
Keanu Reeves train, it seems, at the moment.
But he's a nice guy.
Oh,
I love how it's like John Wick
Yeah.
just came out.
Oh yeah.
And there's like boom, another spike
wow.
on the
Have any of you
Cyberpunk
guys
train.
watched John Wick though? Because
No.
it looks good, but I just haven't gotten around to it.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, no. Like, so it's been in cinema for like the past few weeks now.
Okay.
Next podcast, bro.
Next
Review.
podcast,
No.
the review. No, but
So just like what I don't know about game, I'm not. So just for everyone listening on the panel here, Tyron is the least of the gamers. I'm not a gamer.
you're not a gamer.
No, at all. But upon reading up on this thing, I was really firstly taken back that
This thing being Cyberpunk.
yes, Cyberpunk 2077. Well, I was shocked as I don't know if all games take this long, but this game has been made since 2013.
It's a long time.
Yeah, the first teaser trailer came out in 2013, and in 2013 it won an award for best teaser trailer.
Yeah, best of show for E3. Yeah.
Oh my word.
So I was shocked that is it all games that take 7 years to make, or is this game going to be on a level where we just haven't seen it before? Maybe
Yeah,
Ben, if you want.
this is a labor of love, yeah. But Ben, because this is like you're looking forward to it.
Coming from The Witcher 3, just seeing the masterpiece that these developers have made before, and just
And this is going to be a step up.
yeah, definitely. Or at least that's what everyone's hoping.
Yeah.
Sure.
You can't use a game for years on year
Sure.
and not have a massive following, especially with these developers.
When
coming
is
up.
the release date?
2020?
2020?
No. Wait, no, it's this year.
I think it's this year,
I
yeah.
believe
So-
it's this year.
So they
No, the
missed
pre-order's out.
they missed a 4/20/2020 release date. That would have been amazing. No, but the I think it's like November. I think Ben's gonna look it up now.
16 April. Of
Next year.
16 April.
Next
It is
year.
2020.
wow.
That's what I read today.
So they are for
Yeah.
2020.
Oh wait, is it 4/20/20?
no, 420. Oh wow, it is
That's
420.
really funny.
Like absolute mad lad.
Okay.
Now the game looks good. It's a labor of love.
Sure.
But it's kind of like Half-Life 3 level hype almost.
Sure.
Well, nothing will reach that.
So and Keanu Reeves is actually going to be one of the, you can choose him
I
as
think
V.
he has I think he has the second most lines in there.
Okay, so he's
Oh.
like an NPC.
No, yeah, he's an NPC. You don't
Okay.
play as him.
Oh, is it?
Yes. No,
okay.
like it would be
Oh,
way
that'd
too
be-
cool if we could play as him.
Yeah, I thought
It's like,
that
listen,
would
he's
be-
already got a Fortnite skin. Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
enough.
Yeah,
like,
what's the guy in Fortnite doing in Cyberpunk?
Oh, I'm only getting that now, Pete.
Oh,
Valid point. It does
John
look
Wick,
like.
yeah.
Oh wow.
no, that is the guy in
Oh, is
Fortnite.
it? I'm
Yes,
such a puzzler.
he's such a
Wow.
puzzler.
I miss Friday Night Chill. Guys.
I think it's right now. I think it's gonna really set the bar. You know, there are games that come out,
Yeah.
and then they really like, just in terms of graphics, gameplay, storyline, they set a bar. And I think like maybe back in 2012, it was like Last of Us, and like boom,
Oh yeah,
you know, just cleaned up.
Mm.
And then maybe what Ben was saying about Witcher 3, you know, when Witcher
Yeah.
3 came out, and that really set the bar.
Mm.
Feels like Cyberpunk's going to be... And I think also that it's so cross-platform. You can be on PC,
Yeah.
Xbox, PS4.
But no pre-orders. You're not allowed to pre-order.
What do you mean?
It's the rule on the internet. No pre-orders. We've been burned too many times.
Oh, that's a good point. I actually wanted to say something on that. Like, where there have been some games recently
Yeah.
that have been released where
Yeah.
people like rush the release.
Yeah.
Specifically thinking of Fallout 76.
Oh, shame.
Where,
So, Taran,
oh, man.
context, Fallout 76.
Yes.
There's this game called Fallout.
Yes.
So
I've heard
it's-
of Fallout.
So it's a role-playing game?
It's not a band.
No, it's not a band. No, that's Fallout
Close.
Boys.
Yes.
Yeah. Not to be confused with Destruction Boys. No, so Fallout Boys.
Destruction Boys. Yes. Sorry.
Fallout. Really good game. Beloved series. It's a role-playing game, an RPG. And now they decided we're going to release this, but it's going to like have online functionality. Really cool in theory. Absolutely bombs.
Yeah.
Really?
So many bugs. Like you would just suddenly
So did
like
they
sink through the floor.
rush the release because of the hype?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or at least we think the entire because so the people who make it Bethesda, they had the entire E3 conference was like, guys, we know we messed up, and you're our biggest critics, but thanks for sticking with us. It was so
Wow.
sad,
Crazy.
genuine.
Wow.
Crazy. I think there was another game like that as well, but it didn't have as much like hype around it. I'm pretty sure it was. I think it was Atlas.
Atlas, I've never, I'm not aware of that.
Ben,
one.
I stand corrected. It was that pirate game.
Sea of Thieves.
No, that was a success. That still is a success.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think it's Atlas. It has a similar theme
Yeah.
but it's very much completely realistic, resource-based.
Yeah.
Building, gathering resources,
Okay,
build a port, build a boat, and then from there you travel to different islands, whatever. But I remember that game specifically as well being streamed, and there was just such a push to get this thing released, and just having such an absolute it wasn't about the game being bad, but it was just about the service not being able to accommodate all the people, all the users, just falling flat.
That's actually like really interesting if you start looking into, and it doesn't just happen in the world of gaming, like almost hype culture. When people get so hyped about things,
Oh, man.
and then boom, it gets released. Something like, whether it be a movie, whether it be a game, whether it be music, an album, and like just to see how it completely doesn't live up to that. It's amazing when it lives up to it. But
very seldom does an extreme hype get expectation get met.
You can't make everyone happy, and I almost feel bad for the people making this, because you put your heart and your soul into telling the story, and everyone's so excited about it, but way too excited at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So like, hopefully that doesn't happen with Cyberpunk. I'm really hoping.
No, I think they are taking their time.
Yeah.
I think that's all we have time for today.
Yeah.
I just really want to thank everybody for tuning in and listening to us on those various streams.
Yeah.
And we'll see you guys in
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
But before we completely... just making that... We didn't mention it before. 3 weeks. Every 3 weeks from now, we're going to be uploading. Please, if you enjoy it, send it to people.
Share it.
Tell your mom. Share it. Instagram it. Facebookerize it.
Liverpool won the Champions League.
Liverpool won the Champions League.
Reflex.
But yes, no, thanks from all of us, guys.
Yeah. Cheers.
Bye.
Cheers.